Hello and welcome to the ET interview. The COVID pandemic has shaken the equilibrium of the world. There are some companies which will struggle and will be victims of the crisis. But there are some companies which are likely to emerge as more agile, strong, and are likely to convert this crisis into a serious opportunity. And one such company is Tata Communications. Given their current ecosystem of providing digital services and solutions, Tata Communication is likely to be an immense beneficiary of the current adaptation when the digital transformation first, which was a necessity, has now become a fast track compulsion. So to talk about the path ahead, growth ahead, and the entire ecosystem of digital solution, it gives me great pleasure to now bring on board A. Lakshmi Narayan, CEO and Group MD of Tata Communication. Lakshmi, it's your first time I'm interacting with you on ET Now in this avatar. So a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us, and hope everything is fine and safe at your place. Lakshmi, if I speak to market people, the view on Tata Communication is split right in the middle. There are the bulls and the believers who believe that what Y2K did to TCS, COVID crisis will do that to the business of Tata Communication in terms of giving an inflection point. But there are others who also believe that Tata Communications business model is highly complex. It has a debt challenge, and capital allocation in the past has not been satisfactory. While your numbers are endorsing the bullish view, the purpose of this interview was to perhaps understand the model of Tata Communication and how in today's digital world, where digital transformation has been fast-tracked, your current offerings are likely to benefit, and how will you capitalize on them?
I think there's a lot of things packed in here. So let me start with what COVID has done to our businesses and what we are seeing other businesses in form of recovery post-COVID, right? One, definitely the COVID has accelerated people working from home. We ourselves shifted to about 98% to work from home within a matter of weeks because we have the technology foundation to be able to do that. And we helped hundreds of customers globally and in India to shift thousands of the workers to work from home. But COVID, from Tata Communications point of view, we are not providing the home broadband. And so our participation in this has been more on the secondary, where as a result of people working from home, there is an increased use of collaboration tools which are on the cloud. And as a result, we had to increase the network capacity, connecting the cloud, connecting the enterprises to the cloud, and so on. So we definitely had a very positive rub-off as a result of the COVID. But at the same time, we also had an equally balancing negative effects of COVID, if you will. As you and your viewers might know, media is a very important segment for Tata Communications. Right? So we are globally, bringing about 700 live events, sporting events that we bring and help broadcasters to broadcast. And we're also helping now OTTs to actually take them to device. So that's our entire media ecosystem offering. And that had completely collapsed since COVID. All the meetings, all the events had stopped. And some of our other enterprise segments, like the travel segment and the hospitality segment, had all come to a standstill. So while we had a positive effect on one hand because of the increase in cloud traffic, on the other hand, in some of our enterprise segment, we had a equally balancing downward trajectory. So this sort of balanced off, and that's sort of how we, where we stand with respect to COVID. But looking forward, when people are trying to recover from the COVID, and which is where I think we launched our secure connected digital experience. And I had said this in some other places before. The work from home was previously put together in what we call as a work from home 1.0, if you will. Now people require more secure, more performant work from home or work from anywhere solutions, which is part of our SCDX, the Secure Connected Digital Experience offering, to say how do we provide that security that the enterprises require of their people working from home. How do we ensure that the performance is much better, even if you're working on a normal broadband from other providers? And how could we do that? So one of the Indian large utility companies that we serve adopted our NetFoundry Zero Trust network access solution, where we were able to shift hundreds of their workers within a matter of 6 hours to work from home, right? So, and they're very happy because not only they are secure, now they are also seeing an order of magnitude of improved performance on traditional home broadband and the internet. So they are saying about 3x improvement on the internet. So that's one example of how we are able to bring high security, high performance to this. But our SCDX has other propositions. So work from anywhere is one such proposition. Another use case in the platform that we are talking to customers is about IoT. So how do you ensure the worker distancing, the worker productivity, the worker asset management can happen through an IoT platform, right? So that's another solution which one of our large customers have implemented and are seeing a different use case during the time of COVID, right? Which is another workplace productivity and the digital experience that we're able to deliver through our SCDX offering. And there are two other aspects of SCDX, and I will touch upon that, but that's my quick answer to the COVID situation and how we are repositioning with some of our solutions and approach to the market.
Work at home is something which organizations have adopted. If I look at the example of a Tata Group company, which is TCS, the management of TCS has gone on record and have said by 2025, nearly 75% of the workforce will be working from home. So work at home, is this a great business opportunity for Tata Communication, considering that more companies are likely to adopt this model? A business opportunity which perhaps did not exist earlier and is now something which is a large proposition for Tata Communication?
I wouldn't say it's an exponential jump, Nikunj, on the work from home. So definitely on work from home, one of the things that companies have done is, they all have a VPN solution, and then they will have a unified threat management in the enterprise. And that solution is sort of what I would call a make-do solution for now. But the reason why a more secure solution is required is because of, you would have heard about the denial of service, the DDoS attacks through internet, right? That can come and spam the servers and really cripple the servers and therefore the network and the applications, right? So that's one of the types of threats that you see on the internet. And we hear that those DDoS threats are very prevalent and people are being attacked on there. So when people are on their own VUTM, and if they're not protected for DDoS, then they might have another vulnerability. But if they were to be on our solution, for example, and we provide our VUTM solution, our VPN solution, we would inherently protect them with DDoS and other capabilities that our network offers. Just to give you an example, right? So that is why we are seeing that in future, as people rethink as to how they need to provide more secure and performant connectivity for their employees, they would need to rethink their solution, and which is where our play would come. And the second pattern of the solution is where the NetFoundry-based solution, which we are offering. So these are in the early stages. So as companies begin to rethink, this is what would happen. But if your question is, we are already seeing a surge with enterprises as a result of COVID? No, my answer earlier was, we are seeing a secondary effect as a result of cloud traffic, and we're providing the connectivity for cloud and the interconnect of the cloud, and therefore we are benefiting from that. We foresee that the enterprises would need to transform their networks, and that is what we are. One of the global organizations that we are working with, they are moving to cloud, and especially with COVID, they are accelerating their cloud transformation. And therefore, they are having to transform their network. So if you imagine previously, the networks were designed for connecting the branch to their office, branch to the data centers, and data centers would connect to the cloud and so on. Today, people want more flexible options. How do you connect directly to the cloud rather than going all the way back to the data center and then connecting to the cloud? And with these complexities coming, and the users are demanding more agility and flexibility, security definitely is a concern. And the network design and security, therefore, has to go hand in hand to provide a more robust, scalable, and an agile solution to customers. And that is what we mean by network transformation. And that is what we are offering. And we are already seeing a good take-up of such end-to-end transformative solution to our customers.
So let's talk about specifics, Lakshmi. You've given a guidance that you will have a ROS of 20% in next 3 years. How are you planning to achieve that? Are you getting confidence based on the current order book, or this is purely based on your futuristic outlook of cost control and the future orders which you are likely to get?
Right. So let me, on the ROCE target of 20%. See, we are repositioning ourselves, right? So we have some inherent capability to position ourselves as a platform and technology company with a strong foundation of network capability, because that's one of our strength, with a ring running around the globe and a very strong footprint in India. Now, if you look at a traditional telco, their ROCE would be in the single digits, right? And if you look at the OTT players, their ROCE would be high 20s and maybe in the 30s. And we are somewhere in between with an infrastructure, but also a digital technology play. So the 20% is a good target to go after. We being very unique in that segment. Now, in terms of the confidence of us being able to get there, there are a few things that we are doing. One is looking at our cost structure to see how we can look at our cost structures and fundamentally alter the cost structures. We are a global organization with international footprint, and therefore we're looking at the cost structures to see, what costs are in India, what costs are international, where are those costs, and we are, in the last 8 months, we have been on a journey to address and redress this cost structure, and that is yielding some benefits and results. And there are some benefits to be had out of that going forward. And that's one lever that we are exercising. And there are other cost elements to address as well, which we will address. So one is the whole cost equation. The second is, of course, the capital, right? So we are spending, $240 million of CapEx every year. And we will be looking at our capital allocation to see where is the CapEx growing in terms of our network, in terms of our digital proposition, in terms of our platforms. So that capital allocation and how we allocate capital will have a role to play in terms of the returns, and that's what will reflect in the ROCE. And the third is obviously we need to start growing. And I think our data business, we are confident that in the post-COVID, once the enterprises come back to shape and rethink and what they have to do, our data business will start to grow, and that's the foundation through platforms that we are creating will begin to grow at double digits. So all these are the combination with and the reasons why we have set ourselves the target of the 20%.
Lakshmi, if I look at the track record of Tata Communication last 2 or 3 quarters, your debt has come down. So just wanted to understand that what are your deleveraging capabilities and the kind of run rate which you've maintained where you've reduced your debt both quarterly and annually. Will that continue? Will that continue because of cash flows, or will that continue because of stake sale or non-asset sales?
Yes, that would be our efforts, Nikunj. I think we do have CapEx expenses to make. That's the nature of the business, right? So we are having to borrow to fund some of these. The way we will have to reduce is by producing better EBITDA and converting them to better cash flow, right? So that we can reduce the debt. So that's the one lever that we are focused on. Of course, there are other levers which we are examining, but they are a bit of medium to long term. So in the short term, we will be very focused on how do we generate EBITDA, how do we generate cash flow in order to reduce debt.
Lakshmi, you come with a TCS background, and when you were with TCS, you were able to scale up the businesses you were managing. How are you likely to adopt and implement your understanding of taking business to a scale? Because the COVID crisis, Lakshmi, surely has created a need of digital solutions, and for businesses which are able to understand the need and are able to scale it up in a meaningful manner are the ones who will create wealth for shareholders. So I wanted to understand the whole scale part which you could really implement in Tata Communication based on your experience at TCS.
Right. So first, let me talk about what is the opportunity to scale, and is there an opportunity to scale, right? So if you look at the network spend globally, the network spend is about $145 billion, right? So that's what the network spend globally is. India's spend is about 1.4 billion or so in the network spend. And given our size, in India, we have a good market share. We have a 30% plus market share in India. In international markets, whether it's in the US, in the continental Europe, in UK, in APAC, our revenues are in 200 to 300 million range in the network space. So the upside there is quite high. And given that the earlier discussion that we had on the need for large enterprises to transform their network, right? Because people are beginning to understand that digital is a combination of data, applications, and connectivity, right? And if you leave connectivity behind, if you leave the network behind, then the digital transformation is not going to be complete. They're going to be hampered. They are not going to be secure. They can't scale very quickly, and they cannot be agile. So the network transformation is extremely crucial, and they have to do the network transformation. And that is where we think that there is significant amount of upside for us as a challenger in those markets to go in with a network transformation proposition where we have shown and proven capability to transform, as well as we have individual products. For example, we probably are one of the companies, and probably I would say the only company, which has the ability to deliver internet on enterprise scale on a business grade. Because as you know, internet is best effort basis, right? So internet, you can't fully rely on how the traffic goes, and therefore you can't guarantee. Whereas we have an offering called IZO Internet WAN, which will give our enterprise customers an SLA.
Now, Lakshmi, just to take a leaf of how investors and markets, they understand IT companies, they look at traditional metrics, BFSI spending, IT outsourcing, the macro outlook for the US economy, billing rates, margins, SG&A expenses. These are well-defined metrics which we track every quarter to understand where the business is headed. So what are the metrics or the macro pointers investors should understand or should monitor to understand which way the directional business for Tata Communication is moving?
That is a very complex question for me to answer, right? So, and I would not even attempt to answer. It is, the way we should look at this is, we are positioning ourselves as a large digital ecosystem enabler for large enterprises, right? Wherever they have to do network transformation, wherever they have edge, like an auto or a device being shipped somewhere, how can we help them with the connectivity, security play, and so on? As these grow, we will have opportunities to grow. But if you ask me for the lead indicators of billing rates, I'm afraid I can't give you one, because in some of our portfolio, it is more usage based. So if you talk about our unified collaboration, it's based on amount of usage, so amount of minutes and millions of minutes our enterprise customers would use, and that could go up and down, right? So that is one. If you look at network transformation, I would say the number of network transformation deals we are winning, so that could be one indicator. But besides the large transformation, there are point transactions that are happening with customers as well, where they might say, look, for this 30 sites, I want you to upgrade. So those are opportunities which we would not call as massive transformations, but they are definitely singles that we need to score, not necessarily look for the boundaries and the sixers of the big transformations as well. So it's I'm afraid I can't give you a few sort of lead indicators by which you can judge us at the moment. Yeah.
Now, Lakshmi, I don't expect a formal numeric guidance from you, but if you have to give a sense based on purely qualitative, do you think FY22 and FY23 will be meaningfully different from FY21, or it will be slightly better? How would you like to describe the trajectory? Are you at an inflection point? Can you throw more light on that?
No, I would say definitely it's looking up. I don't know what adjective to use, but I think I mentioned in our quarterly call as well, our pipeline and the pipeline that we've added in the last quarter is the highest the company has seen, right, over a period of time. So the pipeline is definitely strong, and our ability to add pipeline was proven in the last quarter, and we will have to work on it to continue to improve. And leaving aside the short term, the decision making of enterprises and how each one of them emerge out of this COVID situations and so on. In the long term, this gives us a confidence that we are making more sense to our enterprise customers, right? And our way of articulation to them as to how we can solve their problems more holistically as a partner to solve and be a critical player in the digital play, that I think is getting resonance with our customers, and therefore that is reflected in our pipeline. Now, of course, the question is these are early days since our transformation journey started, Nikunj, and I am very hopeful looking at the pickup from our customers as well as the way our teams are rallied behind this change and equipping themselves to deliver these. I'm quite confident that we would have a good future.
Now, Tata Communication in the past has had some legacy issues. Capital allocation has not been the perfect. How will you ensure that those problems or mistakes of the past are not repeated? Because currently also you are undergoing CapEx. You have to invest to build a better future. You will have to borrow at certain point in order to build up scale.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, we have a network, right? Both the submarine cable that runs around the world as well as the terrestrial in places. We have the POPs in India and many other countries through which we are delivering our service, right? So I don't know, I wouldn't call any of it as legacy because they are all foundation for us to build on and deliver our new services and our platforms. That being said, I talked about the CapEx envelope that we have. That envelope will continue to be what it is. But within that CapEx envelope, we are carefully looking at what goes into the sustenance of the network and making sure that it can continue to deliver what it needs to deliver. The second category is how do I expand my network? Because with our growth, for example, in India, we have been investing for the last 3 years, and in the last few months, we have made and approved investments which will allow us to bring more capacity as well as reach and capillarity to deliver to our enterprise business. And the third category of CapEx is, of course, on the platforms and the solutions and the services that we already have, right? So such as NetFoundry, our capability in our cloud security play, in our capability in the InstaCC, which is the customer experience platform, and so on. Now, we are going through a careful analysis and an algorithm to say how they would do. And all of them have a key metric internally to see for the CapEx that we spend, how much of incremental cash are we generating, right? So that's a metric that we are internally monitoring. There is a discipline that has been set in each of these teams, and hope that discipline will permeate through the organization. And it's a matter of then, the rigor of governance and the rigor of execution is what will need to play out.
So before we wrap, Lakshmi, let's talk about NetFoundry. How large do you think NetFoundry could be for Tata Communication? And are you open to making more investments, more platform stroke technology stroke investments in companies which are likely to be incubated by Tata Communications?
No, I think in our strategy, to simplify our strategy, we said a few things. One is financial fitness is a goal. To achieve that, we are looking at the who, what, and the how. Right. So, who is the customer? How we serve them? What is a set of product? And we are making a product to platform shift. And the how is about the operating model and getting the cost structures right, automation, AI, and so on. But underpinning that, we said three things are a commitment. One is sustainability. So we will make sure that we are sustainable, our products are sustainable, we are able to deliver sustainability to our customers and help them to be green as well. The second we said is our investments in AI with a view to ourselves automating as well as to bring that into our platforms to deliver that value to the customer. And third is innovation. I think that we have a strong culture of innovation. Again, we are bringing certain framework and governance to innovation so that we can innovate more. NetFoundry will not be a one-off. We will have more such innovation programs, but one cannot predict. It's like who's going to find the vaccine, right? So, we will make investments and drive the innovation culture within the company, and hopefully we will see the results of that through more such solutions coming to the market.
It was an absolute pleasure interacting with you. Stay safe. And really appreciate that you took time out and patiently answered all our questions and wonderfully broke the entire model of Tata Communications.